Hi, my name is Heather, and today I'm going to share with you how I self-published a card game. It's been almost 2 years in the making, and my boyfriend and I finally finished the card game that we've been working on and published it. I got the idea for me and my boyfriend to work on this project together because we met through our love for tabletop gaming. We met at a local game store and we became friends, and then from there, we ended up dating, and now we've been together for 13 years. So I thought it would be a really neat experience and a great way for us to bond if we could work on a big project together, and I thought this would be the perfect project to work on together. Josh is very active in the gaming community. He does tournaments at game stores all the time, and he goes out of town for tournaments. And he also has a very analytic brain where when he's playing a game, he'll think of all the different ways that he could approach his turn, and he'll figure out like which way gets him like one more point or two more points. Whereas me, I just kind of go with my gut and I just do what's fun and I just play for fun. But I mean, for him, the analytic stuff is fun. So he is also playing for fun, but he's also like teching out every turn. So, because of his crazy analytic brain, he was really good at doing all of the mechanics for this game. And then, since I'm the creative one, I did all of the illustrations and all of the graphic design. So, first, I told him I want to create a game that has forest animals because that's what I want to draw. So, that's what we started with that basic concept. And then his brain kind of went do, 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 do. And then he figured we could do a game where the animals are competing for food in the forest. So we would have like animal cards and food cards. And then from there, we brainstormed the different animals and what their different abilities could be. And we wanted it to be like very themey, where like each animal's ability corresponds with what the animal does in real life. So, for example, my favorite card is the opossum, and his is Play Dead. So you can swap him out with any card from the discard pile because that's kind of like the dead cards. So all of the cards are like that, like the bunny digs because that's what bunnies do. The hedgehog tunnels, and then the turtle hides, so he like hides in his shell. So all of them are like very themed. So after that, we just got regular index cards and we wrote out all of our different animals and their abilities, like what we would have on the card when it's a game basically. And we had index cards that we had them as food cards, and then we just kind of did like a mock playing of the game to kind of see like what the different turns would look like, and what the different phases would be, like the draw phase and the discard and all that. And once we kind of had that figured out, then he took the cards and like really just polished up the game, and then he had all these different people play test it, and he would like change the cards and change some of the abilities. And the biggest thing for him was that he really wanted the game to be well balanced, and he didn't want to have one card that like really overpowered the other ones. That's like a big thing for him, is that he wants the whole game to be balanced. So if there's a card that has like a really strong ability, then he would make that one like not have a food bonus, or it would have a smaller value than the other cards. For example, the big bear, he has a huge value on him, so he can beat the other cards easily with that big value, but he doesn't have any special abilities and he doesn't have any food bonus. So really, some of the smaller cards could end up taking him over because like one of the other cards might swap out the bear for something else, or the bat card, which is the nocturnal one, might make the bear trade places with another card. Then they're not going to win at that spot anymore with the bear. That's how he made sure that he kept the game really balanced. So meanwhile, while he was working on the mechanics and play testing and kind of revising the game, I was working on drawing the illustrations. So I drew the illustrations in Procreate, and I drew out each of the animals. So there's 20 different animals because we have 20 different animal cards. And I drew out all of those animals, and then I also drew out backgrounds for them. And Then I kind of realized that they looked a little boring, and so I wanted them to kind of be a little more whimsical. So then I went back in to all the cards and I added in like little red flowers and flourishes and other little kind of embellishments. And then I was really happy with the way it looked. I thought it looked a lot more whimsical. Then I went and I laid out the cards in Photoshop. So if you have a Photoshop document, you can have multiple artboards in the document. So I made one document with a bunch of different artboards, and each one had a different card on it. So I was able to lay out all the cards and put all of the little special extra text on the bottom and the little food bonuses in the top and all that. And then as Josh kind of like updated the text on the cards and the abilities and the numbers, then I would go in and update that in Photoshop until we had everything like perfect, just how we wanted it. So after that, we were ready to print the cards, and I did find a game self-publishing print-on-demand website called the Game Crafter. So that sounded like a really cool option. So I uploaded all my files and everything, but in the end, it turned out that the cost to print the cards and the instruction sheets and the boxes was just going to be way too much, and we would have to sell the game for like $25 just to not sell it at a loss. And we really didn't want to sell the game for that much. So we did print a sample print from the Game Crafter though, and that was a really great way to kind of get a sample game that we could play with and kind of test it some more. But in the end, I ended up finding a local printer here in Erie that printed the cards and the instruction sheets at a really great price. Shout out to Copy King. Thank you. So we ordered 100 decks from Copy King. And once we got those, then we were ready to start on the box design. But we also needed a UPC code to put on the box, a little barcode. And I had no experience with that. So I looked that up, and it turns out it's like very similar to the process that you would go through with self-publishing a book. So just like how you can buy an ISBN from Bowker, which is like a big database of all of the books, there's a similar thing called GS1, which is a big product database. So you can just go through them and purchase a UPC label. So I did that. It was $30 and I just paid that, and then I had my little barcode. For printing the box, once we had the cards in a stack, then we could measure that and see how big it was. So then I found a place that could print boxes in Texas. So we measured out the game to see how big the box needed to be, and then they made us a custom template for the box, and I was able to just bring that into Photoshop and just lay out the whole box in Photoshop. So then we placed that order, waited for the boxes to come in, and then once those came in, then we had to go in and design the instruction sheets. So we did all of that. Copy King printed those for us. And finally, we had all of the pieces for the game. Then once we had all the pieces for the game, we were ready to package them all. So we had Josh's mom over, and we had a little packing party, and we assembled the boxes and put the cards and the instruction sheet in there, and we shrink wrapped all of the boxes. So then we had 100 boxes ready to go. And the first place that I brought my game to was Werner Books, our local bookstore here in Erie. And they're always super supportive of local creators. And they have some of my children's books there. So I brought the card game there, and they have a little section in their shop that is all board games. So they put the games over there with the board games. And since Josh is so active in the gaming community, he's going to bring the games to some of the game stores that he has good relationships with. So yeah, we just hope to get our game in a lot more little local independent shops that are around the area, or like anywhere that we end up traveling to. We'll just bring our game and ask if they want to carry it. Also on our list is that we are working on getting the game up on Board Game Geek, which is the big board game website where you can rate board games, and like every board game is on there. We want to get our game up there and we can get it some ratings. So I think that'll be really good for us too. And we also put the game up for sale on my personal website in case people want to order online, then they can order from there. I did have some issues trying to get it up on Amazon. In the end, it seemed that the only way we could get it up is if we register a trademark for our little brand name, Cat's Shadow Games, and that would cost $350. So we decided to kind of hold off on that for now, but we might end up doing it eventually, especially if we make more games in the future. I would really like to make an actual board game in the future that is a little more complicated because you have like the board and the meeples and all that. So that would be like the next phase of creation of games. So I don't really know when or if we'll be ready to do something like that, but we might make more card games in the future. Those are nice and easy to print, and I really like that about them. They're just so much easier to create, I think. So that's it for how my boyfriend and I self-published our card game. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or as always, you can email me at heather@heathercash.com. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so I know to make more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.